After 50, the greatest danger to your health isn't wrinkles or gray hair, it's the silent lie of sunlight. You sit outside, feeling safe, believing the sun is protecting your body. But the truth is, your skin has stopped listening. The light is there, yet the vitamin D never comes. And that silent deficiency could be stealing your strength, your memory, and even your independence. Ladies and gentlemen, when we think of vitamin D, one image immediately comes to mind: sunlight. For years, doctors, magazines, and even TV health shows have repeated the same line: just get outside for 15 to 20 minutes of sunshine and you'll be fine. It sounds simple, natural, and even comforting. But what if I told you this advice, while true for younger adults, becomes dangerously misleading after the age of 50? You see, aging doesn't just bring wrinkles or gray hair. It silently changes the way your body functions at the most basic level. And one of the biggest changes happens in how your skin produces vitamin D. That warm sun on your face might feel wonderful, but deep inside your cells, the machinery that used to turn sunlight into vitamin D is slowing down, almost like an old factory that can no longer keep up with demand. Now here's the danger. Many seniors still believe that daily sunlight alone is enough to protect their bones, their memory, and their immunity. But the truth is, after 50, sunlight is no longer the reliable source it once was. And by trusting it blindly, millions of seniors unknowingly walk toward vitamin D deficiency, which can open the door to falls, fractures, infections, and even cognitive decline. Today, I want to shine a light on this sunlight lie. My mission is not to scare you, but to empower you. Because once you understand how aging changes your vitamin D needs, you'll know exactly what to do to protect your independence, your strength, and your future. Let's begin with something most people don't realize. Your skin is like a little vitamin D factory. When sunlight hits your skin, specifically the UVB rays, it triggers a chemical reaction that produces vitamin D. That's why people call it the sunshine vitamin. But here's the warning. Once you cross the age of 50, your factory slows down dramatically. Think of it like an old machine in a workshop. When it was brand new, it worked fast, producing plenty of material with very little effort. But after decades of use, it starts to slow. The gears grind more slowly, the output decreases, and even with the same amount of fuel, the machine can't produce what it once did. That's exactly what happens to your skin. The older you get, the less efficient it becomes at turning sunlight into vitamin D. In fact, research shows that a 70-year-old produces only about 25% of the vitamin D that a 20-year-old would from the exact same sunlight exposure. Imagine that. You could sit in the same garden, under the same sun for the same amount of time as your grandchild, but while they make a full dose of vitamin D, you barely make a fraction of it. This explains why so many seniors are deficient even though they spend time outdoors. You might say, but I walk every morning, I sit in the sun with my tea. Yes, you do, but your skin simply doesn't respond the way it once did. It's not about your effort, it's about biology. Now let's look at why this matters. Without enough vitamin D, your body cannot properly absorb calcium. Calcium is the mineral that keeps your bones strong. Without it, your bones slowly become thin, brittle, and prone to fractures. That's why seniors who believe they're getting enough sun often end up shocked when their doctor tells them their bone density is dangerously low. But bones aren't the only issue. Vitamin D also fuels your muscles, your immune system, and even your brain. Without enough of it, your muscles become weak, making falls more likely. And once a fall happens, brittle bones make fractures almost inevitable. For many seniors, one hip fracture can mean months of recovery, or in some cases, never regaining full independence again. Here's something even more alarming. Low vitamin D is now linked to memory decline and dementia. That means your skin's reduced ability to make vitamin D could be quietly affecting not just your body, but also your mind. Let's paint a picture. Imagine two seniors, both 70 years old. Both enjoy their morning walks in the sun. One believes that's enough. He never checks his vitamin D levels, never supplements, never changes his diet. Over time, his bones weaken, his muscles lose strength, and his memory begins to fade. The other senior understands that aging skin doesn't produce vitamin D like it used to. She talks to her doctor, gets her levels checked, and adds vitamin D-rich foods and supplements to her routine. A few years later, when both of them face life's natural challenges, one is frail and dependent, while the other remains active, independent, and sharp. That difference comes down to one fact: aging skin produces less vitamin D, and ignoring that reality is a silent risk. So, the next time someone tells you, just get more sunshine, remember this truth. For seniors over 50, sunlight alone is not enough. Your skin can't make what it used to, and knowing that could be the key to protecting your strength, your bones, and your independence. Now, here's something many people don't realize. Even if your skin could still make vitamin D efficiently, the sun itself is not always strong enough to help you. The strength of sunlight, specifically the UVB rays that trigger vitamin D production, changes dramatically depending on where you live, the time of year, and even the time of day. Think of sunlight like a food recipe. For vitamin D production, your body needs just the right ingredients: enough UVB rays, enough skin exposure, and enough time outdoors. But when one of those ingredients is missing, the recipe fails. And for millions of seniors, it's the strength of the sun that is missing. Let's start with location. If you live closer to the equator, such as in Florida or Mexico, the sun is strong almost year-round, and you have more opportunities to make vitamin D. But if you live further north, in places like Canada, the northern United States, or the UK, the story changes completely. For nearly half the year, from October through March, the sun is simply too weak to stimulate vitamin D production, no matter how much time you spend outside. You could stand in your backyard at noon in January with the bright sun shining down, but your body would produce zero vitamin D. Why? Because the angle of the sun is too low in the sky, and the UVB rays that your skin needs can't break through the atmosphere to reach you. Now, let's add in the factor of season. During summer, yes, the sun is stronger, and your skin can make vitamin D. But as the days grow shorter in autumn and winter, those rays become weaker and weaker. By late fall in northern regions, your vitamin D production line shuts down completely. Seniors who don't know this truth often feel confident because they go for daily walks all year long. But the reality is, for months at a time, those walks aren't giving their bodies any vitamin D at all. Even within a single day, sunlight strength changes. The best time for vitamin D production is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., when the sun is highest in the sky. But many seniors prefer morning or late afternoon walks when the air is cooler. The problem is, outside that midday window, the UVB rays are too weak to trigger much vitamin D, especially as you age.
And here's another factor: pollution and weather. In big cities with smog or regions where the skies are often cloudy, much of the UVB radiation is blocked before it even reaches your skin. Seniors in these environments may go weeks or even months with almost no vitamin D production. So when we step back, it becomes clear: the advice to just get some sunlight is overly simplistic. It ignores the reality that the sun's power changes with latitude, season, time of day, and environmental conditions. What works for a 25-year-old living in sunny California simply doesn't work for a 70-year-old in London or Toronto. The consequences of this misunderstanding are serious. Many seniors rely on their daily walks as their vitamin D plan, never realizing that half the year they're producing nothing at all. Over time, their bones weaken, their immunity drops, and they wonder why they're always tired, achy, or vulnerable to illness. The truth is, the sunlight they trusted simply wasn't strong enough. Let me give you a simple picture. Imagine your body as a solar-powered house. In the summer, your panels charge just fine. But in winter, in northern latitudes, the sun is too low and too weak. Your house sits in the cold and dark with no energy coming in. Unless you have a backup source, like a generator, you're left powerless. For your body, that backup generator is diet and supplements. Without them, you're running on empty for months. So remember this: sunlight strength isn't constant, and it's not reliable, especially for seniors over 50. Depending on where you live and the season you're in, the sun might not be giving you any vitamin D at all. That's why it's so important not to fall for the sunlight lie, but instead to take control of your vitamin D through smarter, more reliable choices. Now let's talk about why vitamin D deficiency is not just a small issue, it's a silent threat that can touch almost every part of your body. Many seniors think of vitamin D only as the bone vitamin. And yes, it is essential for bone health, but the dangers of deficiency go far beyond bones. It affects your muscles, your immunity, even your brain. Let's walk through these dangers one by one. First, let's start with the bones. Vitamin D is the key that unlocks calcium. Without enough vitamin D, your body cannot absorb calcium from the food you eat. So even if you drink milk or eat vegetables rich in calcium, much of that nutrition passes right through your body unused. Over time, your bones become thin, brittle, and fragile. This is what doctors call osteoporosis. For seniors, that's not just a word, it's a real danger. Because when your bones are weak, even a small stumble can lead to a fracture. And once a fracture happens, recovery is slow and painful. Many seniors never fully bounce back after a hip fracture. It can mean losing mobility, losing independence, and sometimes even losing the ability to live at home. But it's not only the bones. Let's move to the muscles. Vitamin D works like a fuel for your muscle strength. Without it, your muscles weaken, your balance worsens, and your chances of falling rise sharply. Now think about that. Weaker bones plus weaker muscles. It's the perfect storm for injury. That's why vitamin D deficiency is one of the hidden culprits behind so many falls in older adults. Now, what about your immune system? Vitamin D plays a critical role in defending your body against infections. It helps your immune cells recognize and attack invaders like viruses and bacteria. Seniors with low vitamin D are more likely to catch colds, suffer from frequent respiratory infections, and recover more slowly from wounds or illnesses. That's why during flu season or times like the recent pandemic, vitamin D deficiency was linked with more severe outcomes. Your immune system, already slowing with age, needs all the help it can get. Here's another hidden danger: fatigue and low mood. Many seniors report feeling sluggish, tired all the time, or even down emotionally. While some of that can be normal aging, studies have shown that vitamin D deficiency is strongly linked with chronic fatigue and depression. In fact, vitamin D works in the brain almost like a mood stabilizer. When levels are low, energy drops, motivation declines, and daily life feels heavier than it should. And finally, perhaps the most alarming danger of all, cognitive decline. Research is uncovering strong links between vitamin D deficiency and memory loss, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease. Scientists believe vitamin D helps protect brain cells from damage and keeps the brain's communication system sharp. Without it, the risk of mental decline rises significantly. Imagine that. Something as simple as low vitamin D could quietly affect your memory and independence over time. So let's put this together. Deficiency in vitamin D doesn't just mean weak bones. It can mean frailty, frequent infections, slower healing, chronic fatigue, low mood, and memory decline. It's a hidden domino effect. One deficiency opens the door to multiple problems that make aging harder and more dangerous. Now, here's the real danger. Vitamin D deficiency doesn't announce itself loudly. You don't feel a sharp pain or see a rash. It creeps in silently. Many seniors only discover it after a fall, a fracture, or a blood test at the doctor's office. By then, damage may already be done. That's why it's so important not to wait until something goes wrong. The truth is, vitamin D deficiency is like a silent thief. It steals your strength, your resilience, and even your sharpness of mind. But the good news is, you can stop it. And the first step is recognizing that it's real, it's common, and it's more dangerous than most people think. Now, let's look at another reason why relying only on the sun is risky: modern habits. Even when the sun is strong enough, and even if your skin could still make vitamin D, our daily choices often block the very rays our body needs. Let's begin with sunscreen. For decades, we've been told, and rightly so, that sunscreen protects us from skin cancer, premature aging, and sunburns. And that's true. Sunscreen is a lifesaver. But here's the hidden side. Sunscreen also blocks the UVB rays that trigger vitamin D production in your skin. Research shows that sunscreen with SPF 15 can reduce vitamin D production by over 90%. SPF 30 can block it almost completely. Now think about it. A senior goes outside, carefully applies sunscreen on their face, arms, and legs. They spend an hour in the garden or walking around the park, believing they're soaking up vitamin D. But inside their body, nothing happens. The sunscreen has stopped their vitamin D factory from turning on. They go home with a sense of accomplishment, never realizing their body is still running empty. Now let's talk about clothing. Seniors are often advised to cover their skin when outdoors, wearing hats, long sleeves, or even umbrellas. Again, this is wise advice for preventing skin damage. But what happens when most of your skin is covered? Very little sunlight actually reaches your body. And since vitamin D can only be made in exposed skin, those covered areas might as well be indoors. Think about this example. A person wears long pants, a long-sleeved shirt, and a wide-brimmed hat. Only their hands and face are exposed. That's just a tiny portion of skin. Even if the sun is strong, the small amount of exposure simply isn't enough to produce the vitamin D they need. Now add lifestyle into the mix. Compared to younger generations, many seniors spend more time indoors. Some prefer reading, watching TV, or resting at home. Others may have mobility challenges that limit outdoor activity. On top of that, our modern world is designed for the indoors. Shopping malls, restaurants, gyms, and even social gatherings are often inside. The result? Hours upon hours with no meaningful sun exposure. And here's another important point. Windows block UVB rays. That means sitting by a sunny window in your living room or even in a car will not help your body produce vitamin D. You may feel the warmth, but your skin doesn't get the UVB signal it needs. Seniors often say, "I sit by the window every morning with my tea, so I'm fine." Sadly, the truth is, they're not making any vitamin D at all. When you add all this together, sunscreen, clothing, and indoor living, you can see why vitamin D deficiency is so common in seniors. It's almost inevitable. Even if you try to be outdoors regularly, the combination of protection, covering, and lifestyle reduces your exposure to nearly zero. Now, let me be clear, I'm not saying you should stop using sunscreen or covering your skin. Protecting against skin cancer is extremely important. What I am saying is this: relying on sunlight for vitamin D after 50 simply doesn't work anymore. Your skin is less efficient, the sun is not always strong enough, and your habits, though healthy in other ways, block the little UVB that remains. That's why so many seniors are deficient, even those who swear they get plenty of sun. It's not their fault, it's biology plus lifestyle.
So, the next time someone tells you, just spend more time in the sun, remember the reality. Sunscreen, clothing, and indoor living make sunlight unreliable. To protect your health, you need to look beyond sunshine and find other sources of vitamin D, because your life, your strength, and your independence depend on it. Now that we've uncovered the truth about sunlight, that aging skin produces less vitamin D, that the sun isn't always strong enough, and that sunscreen, clothing, and indoor lifestyles block what little UVB is left, it's time to answer the most important question. If sunlight isn't reliable, then what's the real solution? The good news is you are not helpless. Even though your skin may not be producing vitamin D like it used to, you can take control through diet and supplements. Think of it this way. If the sun is no longer filling your vitamin D tank, then you need to refill it through your plate and your medicine cabinet. Let's start with food. There are natural sources of vitamin D, though not as many as we would like. Fatty fish is one of the richest sources. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, and tuna are excellent choices. Just a few servings each week can boost your vitamin D intake significantly. Eggs are another source, specifically the yolks. Dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese are often fortified with vitamin D, meaning extra amounts are added to help meet your needs. Some orange juices and cereals are fortified too. And let's not forget mushrooms. When exposed to sunlight, they naturally produce vitamin D, much like our own skin does. But here's the truth. Even with the best diet, it's very hard for seniors to get enough vitamin D from food alone.
you would have to eat fatty fish almost daily or consume large amounts of fortified foods, and still most seniors would fall short. That's where supplements come in. Supplements are not a weakness, they are a tool, a way to give your body what nature no longer provides in abundance. A simple vitamin D supplement can fill the gap that sunlight and diet cannot. Most doctors recommend vitamin D3, the form your body absorbs most easily. For many seniors, doses between 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day are common, though some may need more depending on their blood levels. The best way to know what you need is to get a blood test. It's a simple test your doctor can order, and it tells you exactly where you stand. From there, your doctor can recommend the right dosage for your unique situation. Now, some seniors worry about taking too many pills, but here's the perspective. Vitamin D is not about adding another burden, it's about protecting your independence. Think about it. Strong bones mean fewer fractures. Strong muscles mean fewer falls. A healthy immune system means fewer infections. And a sharper brain means staying engaged and independent for longer. Isn't that worth a tiny capsule each day? Ladies and gentlemen, supplements are especially important during the winter months if you live in northern areas. For nearly half the year, your body makes no vitamin D from the sun at all. Without supplements, your levels will drop dangerously low. Think of supplements as your winter sunshine in a bottle. And here's a tip. Vitamin D works best when paired with calcium and magnesium, which help your body build strong bones and muscles. That's why many seniors take a combined supplement or make sure their diet includes dairy, leafy greens, or nuts to balance things out. So, what is the real solution? It's a 3-step plan. Check your levels, eat smart, and supplement wisely. Don't leave your health to chance or trust the sunlight lie. You have the power to stay strong, resilient, and independent by taking control of your vitamin D. Because here's the bottom line. Sunlight may fail you, but science, smart choices, and a little daily discipline will not. And that small effort can mean the difference between frailty and strength, between dependence and independence, between fading and thriving in your golden years. Ladies and gentlemen, we've uncovered a truth today that many people over 50 never hear clearly. The sun is not enough. Aging skin produces less vitamin D. The strength of sunlight changes with location and season. Sunscreen, clothing, and indoor living block what little UVB your body might still capture. And the cost of deficiency is not small. It is weakness, fractures, infections, fatigue, memory decline, even the loss of independence. This is why I call it the sunlight lie. Not because the sun is useless, but because believing in it blindly after 50 gives you a false sense of security. You sit outside, you take your walks, you feel like you're protected, but silently, inside your bones, inside your muscles, inside your brain, your body is running low day after day. But here's the good news. You are not powerless. You can break free from the sunlight lie. You can choose foods that strengthen your body: salmon, eggs, fortified dairy. You can add vitamin D supplements, that tiny capsule of health which becomes your sunshine in a bottle. You can talk to your doctor, get a simple blood test, and know exactly where you stand. And most importantly, you can protect what matters most: your freedom, your strength, your independence. Because the truth is, vitamin D is not just a vitamin, it is your shield. It guards your bones so they don't break, your muscles so they don't weaken, your immune system so it fights back, and your mind so it stays sharp. So to every senior listening today, I say this: don't fall for the sunlight lie. Don't risk your health on something your body can no longer guarantee. Instead, take charge, fill the gap, give your body what it needs to keep you standing tall, living fully, and aging with strength and dignity. Your health is your freedom. Protect it, cherish it, and never ever leave it in the hands of the sun.